So there's been a bit of a crisis in Europe, the travel industry, with airlines finding themselves in a position where they have to cancel flights. This is due to staff shortages, with staff strikes and maintenance and stuff like that. Been a whole host of issues that have led to airlines like KLM, British Air, Virgin Atlantic canceling flights. But, I just want to talk about today, what do you do when you find yourself in the situation where your flight has been cancelled? You are stuck at the airport, be it you're in transit at the airport, or you find yourself in a place where you were supposed to go back home, but now you're stuck at the airport because your flight has been cancelled. So yeah, let's talk about that. Let's get into it. Okay, so if your flight gets cancelled, first thing you need to remember is that the airline has an obligation to you as a customer. So if you missed your flight and you were late, well, that's on you. You have to unfortunately buy another flight. Unless you're very fortunate that you can top up a bit and not have to get a completely new flight and they give you the next flight available. But if the airline itself cancels, then they have an obligation to you as a customer to actually get you to your destination. So you must always bear this in mind. You will get home or you will get wherever you're going. So the first thing you need to do if your flight is cancelled, as soon as that announcement is made, make sure that you go find your luggage. Go to the conveyor belt for where your luggage, for your airline or whatever, where your luggage will be, and go get your luggage. That's if you have luggage checked in. This is because if you don't go get it immediately, they're going to remove that luggage because there will be another airline that's coming in and they're gonna they will have their luggage there. So your luggage is gonna go missing and you're gonna have a mission of trying to find your stuff. So just make sure before you do anything else, go find your luggage. Don't be like me where your luggage is left behind and you're already on the other end and now you have to talk to a million people for you to be allowed to cross back. So I was in an unfortunate situation where I'd already cleared security and everything. My bag was in, and while I was waiting for my flight, it got delayed. First of all, after it got delayed by a couple of hours, and while I was still waiting for the delayed, it got cancelled. And obviously, I'm on the other end already. I've cleared security. It's a whole mission for you to find your way back. So the next thing after you get your luggage back is to find your way out. So what you need to do is make sure that you get out as if you are arriving. I know it's tricky to find your way out once you're on the other side, but you need to make sure you find the exit way as if you are arriving. So you're going to get out by the arrivals end, and this allows you also to get your bag. If you are struggling to find your way out, find somebody who works at the airport and ask them, explain to them your situation. They will definitely lead you to the exit, or they'll direct you on how you can go about it. This is also a nice way to actually have a quicker exit because they have staff exits instead of you going all the way around the airport. The third thing that you need to think about is go back to the check-in counter. So once you find your way back out, go back to the check-in counter. This is the check-in counter where you got your boarding pass, where you drop off your bag, where you checked in. Go back to that check-in counter and make sure they are aware that you are one of the people who have checked in whose flight was cancelled. This puts you on the list for any potential flights that they're going to be putting you on. Remember, the airline has an obligation to you to get you to your destination. They owe you a flight, essentially. So you need to make sure that they know that you had checked in, you are on the list, you were not running late, so that they can put you up on whatever measures they put in place. The next thing you need to think about is the airline is obligated to get you transport. If you are stuck at the airport and for instance you were staying with friends or you're staying with family, that's great because then you're fortunate because you can go back to them. But the airline has to get you transport. They should get you an Uber, a taxi, or whatever means of transport that needs to get you back. They are responsible for paying for it and get you there. And if you were in transit and your next flight is cancelled, or you didn't have friends or family that you were staying with and you no longer have accommodation, the airline has the obligation to put you up in a hotel or some sort of accommodation. Usually they put you up at the closest hotel to the airport. It might not be the best accommodation, but it is better than you having to shell out money for you to find accommodation. So you must make sure that when you get to back to the check-in counter, these are the things that you discuss with them. Your transportation back to the accommodation if you are staying with family or friends, or them organizing transportation as well as accommodation where you are going to be staying, because then you are not stranded. Like I said, the airline will put you on the next available flight. In the instance where there's this crisis that's going on, with KLM, Virgin Atlantic, British Air, pretty much a lot of airlines in Europe. In instances where there's those situations where they don't have a next available flight due to a sequence of cancelled flights, they will put you on a partnering airline that they work with. In my instance, I ended up was supposed to fly with KLM, but I ended up having to fly with Emirates and connecting in Dubai instead. So the airline will make those arrangements for you to make sure that you end up getting to your destination. What you need to make sure is that it's still convenient for you. Yes, you might. It might be difficult due to the crisis for them to find you the best available, best next available that's convenient for you, but they will definitely get you on their partnering airline, or they will organize with another airline to get you going. What is also possible, lastly, what is also possible is you getting a cancellation, a refund, that is. This all depends on how your flight was booked. So if you booked with like a booking agent like Cheap Flights, Budget Air, Skyscanner, those type of things, it might be a bit more difficult for you to get your money back, because then it depends on how the flight was booked. If you booked and paid an extra fee for you to be covered in case of a cancellation, you might get your money back. If you don't have that, it might be a bit more difficult. If you book directly with the airline, then you can get a cancellation, because you can go directly to them and be like, hey, I had to book another flight. This is what happened. So make sure you have that conversation in place and start the discussion. Even if you have booked with like an agency, start the discussion with the airline. You never know where the situation might actually end up. So have a conversation with that. So if you find yourself stranded at the airport, your flight is cancelled, either you are connecting or you were stuck coming back, don't panic. Just remember all these tips that I've mentioned in here, and you will be back onto your destination. The world is open. Let's get traveling. Thank you so much for joining Pretty on a Plane. If you like this type of content, like this video, subscribe to the channel so that we can grow the channel. Thank you for joining Pretty on a Plane. Love you.